Mohbad is saying the only solution to the menace in Nigeria is, and to stop the insecurity is what? Division. And he's saying that the UK must pay Biafra over 6 trillion naira. But the federal government, and so in Esetan, they are saying what? They are saying they are ready to create a new state for the people of Biafra so that their decision can stop. But Biafra are saying that they don't want a new state. The Igbos are saying all what they want is give them a new nation called Biafra. What is your take as regards Anioma State become the sixth eastern state in Nigeria?
Thank you for having me. I'm going to tell you that of a truth, the Igbos are treated in Nigeria, but the state does not take away the right of people for self-determination. That's the truth. And if you talk of Anioma people, these are pure Igbo people. There's no two ways about it. And even the Anioma we are talking about is the biggest senatorial district in Delta State, with 9 local governments, as against the 7 and 8 in the other 2 senatorial districts. So the question is, now that we are seeing push from international arena, a situation where a former US ambassador came out clearly. So it is very clear that what the people actually want is secession. It's very clear that what the people want is their own sovereign states. So even if you are giving a number to Igbo people, it doesn't take away the right of people for self-determination.
So they are not satisfied.
Of course,
with okay.
Because these are people who have been marginalized in the section of the country called Nigeria. You cannot take away the fact that there is a right of self-determination. You cannot take away the fact that the global community already discussing Nigerian secession. Before we saw that former US ambassador to come out clearly to say that Nigeria should divide, we have taken time to study everything that are happening in Nigeria. Before Mike Arnold came out clearly to say that there should be compensation for Biafra, and that's the reason Britain is running away from Biafra sovereignty. We are taking time to study what is happening. I keep saying it. There's nothing sacrosanct about Nigeria as a country. To the extent that the one that created the world, God himself, never created the Nigeria to be one. Yes, of course, because when it comes to unifying factor that has to do with language, you understand that the Igbos speak their own different language. It means that God created them a different people. The Hausas speak their own different language. It means that God created them a different people. The Yoruba speak their own different language. It means that God uniquely created them in their own different way. The same is applicable to the Fulanis and the other ethnic minorities in Nigeria. So why now forcing people to be together in an entity that seems not to be working? A situation where the Fulanis that are even in minority and they like to come into Nigeria are causing problems here and there. How can you tell me that the Fulanis came into Nigeria in sometime 14th century? In sometime 18th century, they successfully formed and established the Sokoto Caliphate. And as we have it, even up to today, they have completely subjugated the north. The same thing they intend to do in the southern part of the country that have not worked for them. As we speak, up to today, the Fulanis are just about 15 million people. The Hausas are about 60 million people. Yet, the Fulanis are sitting on the Hausas. To the extent that recently we started hearing some Hausa persons coming out to speak out loudly, calling on the Igbos, calling on the Yorubas to come and save the Hausa from the hands of the Fulanis. So for me, whether you want to create it or not, it does not take away the right of self-determination. Because whether you like it or not, you enter that talks about self-determination, African enter that talks about self-determination, Nigerian government is already a signatory to it. To that extent, it's already a law in Nigerian legal jurisprudence. So that's the fact. That is why if you look at the travel of Nnamdi Kanu, the charges against Nnamdi Kanu, you cannot see anything that has to do with self-determination, because the government know that self-determination is a right, and Nigerian government have already subscribed to it. So you can go ahead to create an Anioma state, but that does not take away the fact that people who are agitating for self-determination have right to do so. And even Anioma you're talking about is purely Igbo by origin. It doesn't matter the opinion of anybody. How can you find a situation where I'm from Anioma, for instance, I'm from Abo, whether you call it Eka, Mbokwa, Oshimini, Kwane, they are all Igbo-speaking part of Delta states. And if Biafra is to come today, they are willing and ready to join their brothers to actualize that sovereign state. Because you have to have a country like Nigeria where there is no justice, fairness, and equity. And every attempt to rework all the things that are not working in Nigeria is always being resisted by the political class. So how do you ask people not to agitate to succeed? So for me, it's very clear that every right-thinking member of the society will support every genuine move to have Nigeria, issue of Nigeria discussed. Okay, why is it that the Nigerian state is always afraid to have issue of Nigeria discussed on a round table? So that if you are going for referendum, it's not by gun, it's not by bullet, it's not by federal might, it is by canvassing your opinion. Go and talk to people why they should not leave Nigeria, and let us see voting. So that at the end of the day, if those that say they want to remain are more in number, it means you have foreclosed every attempt of anybody to write tomorrow to say we want our own sovereign state. So why they don't know from it? Since it is a recognized instrument globally to resolve such issues, I think they should give it attention. Invite UN, invite European Union, invite African Union, invite ECOWAS, and let us see how it goes. Let people come out and vote, canvass opinion to the people. Because for me, until we do this, it will be difficult to save the sanctity of human life. Because the great amount at which Nigerians have been disallowed by this so-called Fulanis is becoming alarming. Alarming to the point that life has become valueless, meaningless as we have it currently. So for me, I think it's becoming very clear. Hence, we are now seeing from international arena how the world bodies, individuals are already keyed into this. I think it calls for circumspect at this point, and it should be given expeditious action.
But do you not think it's coming too late from the federal government of Nigeria creating ANIOMA at this time, when we know that the US Congress, the Knesset are already in discussion as regards the secession of the Igbos from Nigeria? Do you think that's why the federal government are now pressured to create ANIOMA so that they can keep Nigeria as one nation, that they can at least reduce the agitation as regards the Biafrans coming out to agitate for their country?
I will tell you that is purely the reason. There's no truth about it, because before that Israeli Knesset, talking about Israeli parliament, came out clearly to extensively discuss the issue of Biafra, issue of IPOB, issue of Nnamdi Kanu. We didn't see the Nigerian government start talking positively with respect to creating an ANIOMA state. And even most recent now, we are seeing a former American ambassador coming out clearly to say the way it is, divide the country. And apart from that, we are seeing McAnroyd, of course, a former mayor from America, still echoing on the same thing, talking about compensation that needs to be paid. Of course, it's mind-blowing. The highest level of compensation that could be done globally. And let me tell you one thing. You see the reason they are doing this? Because they know the power that America wields. And they know that Israel is a very close ally of America. That once Israeli Knesset, that is Israeli parliament, concludes on Biafra sovereignty, pass it over to Israeli Prime Minister, talking about Benjamin Netanyahu, that Benjamin Netanyahu can easily access the office of Donald Trump, talking about the Oval Office, to present the same case. And once American president and government buys into it, forget it, that's the end. Because America have overriding power over UN voting, talking about UN General Assembly voting. So the next thing you are going to see, once America buys into it, American government is going to write a proclamation sent to the UN for voting. If they vote against it, they have what it takes to veto it and come and enforce it. And I want to believe that that is the reason we are now seeing all this urgent attention, all this push recently to placate the people. I see it as a way of trying to persuade the people, placate their minds, to drop the agitation. But I think it's coming too late, because people have already made up their mind. I keep saying it. Can two people work together except they agree? That's the point of the Bible, and the Bible says it is not possible. So the question is, if you go and sample the opinion of Nigeria, because I have a statistician by training, you go and sample the opinion of Nigerians about what they think about Nigeria, particularly from Biafra angle, even some part of Oduduwa, you understand that a good number of people will tell you that they want their own sovereign state. The only people that are enjoying the country are the political class. Those are the only people that will tell you that we are comfortable, we want to remain. As long as you are doing it within the ambits of the law, you are not destroying lives and properties of the people, you have not committed any known crime. both locally and internationally. And I think that's the frustration of the government, why they could not find anything that started in Kano with respect to self-determination, because it's very clear that self-determination is a right both locally and internationally.
But we saw Ngozi Orabuezi attack Akpabio and Edwoko. He said they are on their own. Even if they are Biafrans, that these people cannot talk on behalf of over 80 million Biafrans, that all they know, all what she knows is that Biafra has been, actualized, and the federal government wanting to start or wanting to create Anioma is just time wasting. Do you think that she's right telling Akpabio and Nedoko to stay clear of the creation of this Anioma state?
You see, I mean, it's very clear. That's why I started by saying that even if we are talking of creation of Anioma, though from my own point of view, Anioma is purely Igbo. There's no two ways about it. It does not take away the right of agitation of people for self-determination. It doesn't matter the opinion of anybody. You are talking of Anioma. That word Anioma in itself is Igbo language. It means land that is good. That's the meaning of Anioma. So for me, even if we are talking about Anioma states and people are saying we want to secede, that does not take away their right. So for what Ngozi Orabuezi is saying, it is within her right to say what he's saying, because it's not an offense to say you want your own sovereign state, so long as you are going about it within the ambits of the law. You are not bearing arms, you are not destroying lives and properties of anybody, and I think that is what is happening. And if you watch what is happening, a part of frustration of Nigerian government is because they even fail to make the world believe that IPOB is a terrorist organization. Because recently, not just recently, we have seen IPOB in the United States of America, in Britain, in Russia, in Germany, in France, everywhere, globally. They go there not just pretending, they go with their flags, they do procession to the full glare of the international media. What does it tell you? It tells you that the government of those foreign nations do not believe in what Nigerian government say about them. It tells that the government of those nations do not believe that they are terrorists. So you see that is why it is even easy for those proponents of secession, for those proponents of Biafra sovereignty to push it through to those foreign governments. How can you tell me that you saw an Israeli parliament as sophisticated as Israel, their parliament coming out clearly to say they are in support of IPOB, to the point that they extensively discuss the issue of Biafra, discuss the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. They officially endorse IPOB. So it goes to tell you that the international body, international countries, they do not pander to sentiments. They face reality, and reality is what we should be looking at. The reality is that the people are fed up with the current situation where life has no value. How can you explain a situation where the Fulanis are wreaking havoc everywhere? You can clearly see kidnapping, maiming everywhere. Look at what was happening in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Benue, in Plateau. It's already coming to the southern part of the country. You may say Kwara is part of the north, part of Ondo State, where a monarch was recently disallowed as he refused to be adopted. Even in our local government area of Ondo State, we recently saw the burning down of a police station. So how can you continue cohabiting with the people who have no value for the sanctity of human life? Who every effort to make them see reason why people should coexist have always hit big poor. Have you not seen what happened recently? Where even the Sultan himself started feeling that how can they survive if the country should divide? So what did I tell you? It tells you that they have been leveraging on the resources from the south, from the side of the country. That is why you can see him shouting, how do we survive? Because he knows that the solid mineral, the rare earth, the gold, name it, that it may not be sufficient for them to survive the way they share oil money. Because what they do is they just wait at the comfort of their homes, their state. The money will come to federal coffers. They share it the way they want. The only thing that even give the oil producing states some level of competitive advantage is just the 30% derivative. So how can you tell me that a state like Jigawa State is 27 local governments, a state like Kano is 44 local governments? Put together, Jigawa was carved out of Kano. Put together, I'm talking about 77 local governments, and yet this area do not bring any meaningful thing to Nigerian coffer. to Nigerian table. Yet they take more, even more than places where you have the crude. So for me, there's every need to think out with the current status quo for the sanctity of human life.